Hello, I'm Gormley, and today I'd like to talk you through a breath practice, breathing practice that I call house breathing, using the analogy of a house as your torso. So you can be seated. I'm going to sit in a chair, but you can sit on the floor. You can lie down, although the analogy works better if you're upright. So I'd prefer you to sit in a chair or just seated on the floor. Right. So let your body be unsupported by the chair back unless you absolutely need it. And if the body gets fatigued halfway into this, then by all means, lean back into your chair back. But the more you can practice sitting without the use of the chair, the more you work those core muscles. But since that is working those core muscles, they might get fatigued and you may need to rest them. So, house breathing, what I call house breathing, is imagining that your torso is a house with multiple floors. And we'll start with just 3 floors, the belly being like the basement, and the chest, the collarbones being the attic, and then the main part of the chest or rib cage as the main floor. And well, imagine the windpipe as this central chimney. And as the breath comes in and out of this chimney, it has an opening like a hearth, and it brings air both in and out. And you have this ability to open the flue, as it were, on one level, say the basement area, or another level, the attic or the main level. And you can also sort of spin or make the opening be toward the back and not just only the front, or the back only and not just the front, or even just toward one side or the other. So it's kind of this magical fireplace or magical chimney that you can open any floor that you like and push and pull the air in any direction. So it's as though there's 4 rooms to each level, like a room on the front left and right, and a room on the back left and right, in the basement, on the main floor, and in the attic. So just find your feet and sit tall, and take a moment just to visualize your windpipe as this chimney. And as the air comes in, make the opening. Let's just start with the main floor. Make the opening on the front of the main floor so that you can blow air in and suck the air back out. And we're just going to blow it in the front, both rooms on the front, and pull it back out. A couple of breaths like that, and then we'll change and let's go down and do the basement and inhale into the front. This is what some people call belly breathing. And then up to the attic, which tends to be more difficult, so do your best. And then even more difficult often is the back area. So let's go to the main floor and feel like you're opening into the back of the main area. So open the back side of the chimney, or the hearth, I guess that would be. And then go down to the basement, the back of the basement. And the attic, back side of the attic. And so each day, if you practice this breath each day for even just spend 2 minutes a day playing with this, can be so beneficial for bringing balance to your respiratory system and also the cardiovascular system and many systems that are supported by the breath. So often we have this one breath pattern that we've created ourselves over a number of years that we've been living this particular way of breathing, and the diaphragm muscle, which is the main respiratory muscle, has moved in this one way for those n number of years. The abdominal muscles, the muscles between the ribs, the intercostal muscles, and the serratus muscles, really all the chest muscles and belly muscles, all are involved or can move a little bit with the breath. And some people have created patterns that move the body in various ways, and in a particular way for their breath pattern. So I'm asking you to do this house breathing and discover which rooms are open and airy, which rooms feel like that breath just easily blows in and pulls back out. It's like the doors are open, the windows are open, it's just blowing through, the breeze is blowing. And which rooms feel like there's cobwebs up there, it's dark, dank, dusty, and the breath is coming in and helping to clean that out. What some of the rooms might feel like the door is slammed shut, you can't even get in there. And some of them you can get a little breath underneath the door, or maybe the doors just open a little bit instead of full way wide open. So just kind of play and discover which floors are open and airy, which floors are more dark, dank, dusty perhaps, which rooms have cobwebs up in the corners, which room have cobwebs all over, like that. And use your breath to start to get in there and clear it out, clean it out, so that you don't have this one well-worn path, but you start to sort of expand and bring more flexibility to the various muscles that are part of the breath. So at first we do just floor by floor. So we just did 3 floors, and then also we did them in the front and the back. But you could also do the room on the left, the room on the right on each floor. So that's 4 rooms per floor. If you just did 1 breath per room, that would be 12 breaths, or a couple of breaths in each room, maybe for 24 breaths. But you can start to expand this practice as you play with it over the days and weeks and months to come. The next thing is to make more floors. So you can divide the basement into 2, into like a sub basement and then the regular basement floor. Use your navel as the dividing line. So from the navel down is the sub basement, and from the navel up to the ribs is the upper basement. And your rib cage you could divide into thirds. So you have the lower ribs, the mid ribs, and the upper ribs by the collarbones as sort of the main floor, the upper floor, and the attic. And if you continue to play over time, what you can do what I call the city building or the apartment building or a high rise kind of thing. And here you can imagine the basement divided into multiple levels like a parking garage. And each rib, so you got 12 ribs, so each rib, or about 1 inch of space, is each floor of the apartment building. And then also apartments going laterally, so you get out to the corner office suites kind of thing, or the penthouse kind of thing. And you can start to really isolate in your body where it feels like it needs more cleaning and cleared out. And you start to stretch your diaphragm and all of these muscles in and make the so in regular yoga class we're looking at which muscles are tight and which muscles are loose, and stop doing the things that you don't really need to do and focus on the things that you do need to bring more flexibility or strength to your body. And the breathing muscles are no exception. So you want to look and see what is your diaphragm muscle doing, and the abdominal muscles and all the chest muscles that are involved in breathing. So you start to see where you've been tight. Like if you can't do an expansion of the rib cage, then your chest muscles are tight. If you can't expand the belly, then your belly muscles are tight. So start to play with expanding your diaphragm and all your muscles so that you can get the breath into every little corner of your house, of your whole entire house or your whole entire apartment building or office high rise, however you like to imagine it. So let's take just another moment and play with that. So let's go to the 5 floors now. We won't go room by room, but just exploring the let's pick one floor and not one of the middle floors. Let's pick one of the top 2 or the bottom 1 or 2 so that you're not in the easier range, but in your more difficult range, which usually is the upper or the lower floors. And let's go to the right and left, back and back body and front body. Notice the difference. And so some people can tell left to right, one side is more difficult, but usually you can tell the back is more difficult than the front. And often the right is more difficult than the left, just the way the lungs are designed with the lobes. There's only 2 lobes on the left, so to move the breath on the left side tends to be a little easier. Not for everyone, everybody's different, everybody's thumbprint is different, everybody's breath is different. You are unique. So discover your breath pattern and begin to take the road less traveled. The theory is that the breath pattern that you have trained your body to do and have repeated and are in this pattern for n number of years, any particular breath pattern will have some pros and some cons. So for example, someone who's more of a belly breather, they may have a more weakened pelvic floor, which can lead to things like incontinence. And often there's a greater chance for lower back pain because the belly wall is weak and then you need the belly to support the lower back. And people who are more chest breathers, they tend to be a little more type A, more hyperactive, more anxious, more heart conditions. So it's important to look at your breath and begin to change your habits, which is really the name of the game in yoga, where it's changing one pattern, one habit for another. Hopefully one bad habit going for one a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. And step by step, slowly, step by step over time, we bring more balance and more harmony to the body. So I hope you enjoyed that house breathing, and we'll do another lesson another day. Thank you. Namaste.